Welcome. I'm Dale at 4449. This is my new series that I'm going to call a relatively quick rundown. Today I'm going to talk about a subject quite close to me in my local commuter railroad, Caltrain, more generally the route to Peninsula Commute. The first semblance of the route was a proposed railroad in 1860 with the very inventive name of the Pacific and Atlantic Railroad, and it was planned to run between San Francisco and San Jose and then all the way to the East Coast. Unsurprisingly, the funding didn't come through, and these attempts to get funding from the East Coast were ultimately unsuccessful due to lack of capital. Information on this failed venture are almost non-existent, and you'll mostly get results for the Atlantic and Pacific Railroad, progenitor of the Frisco. Moving on to later in 1860, the San Francisco and San Jose Railroad is incorporated to build and run the line from San Francisco to San Jose. Construction started a year later and finished in 1864. They were bought by the Central Pacific, and then the Central Pacific was bought by the Southern Pacific. In 1907, the Bayshore Cutoff was built, bypassing parts of San Bruno and Daly City. The old route is now followed by BART. In 1915, the beautiful 3rd and Townsend Station was built for the 1915 World's Fair. The line was used a wide variety of steam locomotives, from Pacifics to 10-wheelers, mountains, and even some GS1 series locomotives. By the 1950s, the Southern Pacific started to retire its latest steam locomotives and replace them with the Electric Mode Division's GP9 and the Fairbank-Morse H2266 Trainmasters. While the Trainmasters were retired by 1975, the GP9s lasted until the Caltrain era. In 1955, a few of the first gallery cars were delivered, which would become a common sight on the railroad for the next 3 decades, alongside a collection of Pullman-built suburban cars which had been on the railroad since the mid-20s. In 1971, Amtrak took over runnings and operations of all of SP's passenger operations, except for Peninsula Commute, which SP was forced to service. By the 1970s, ridership was anemic, only about 1,500 passengers daily, from a peak of 16,000 in 1954. SP tried to discontinue the line unsuccessfully. In 1975, they replaced the Mission-style depot at 3rd and Townsend with its current terminal at 4th and King. I've heard from many people who were alive when this happened. They said it was akin to the transition from Penn Station to the underground Penn Station that it is now. It transitioned from a glorious station, which was in books next to Grand Central, to looking like it should be at Tomorrowland in Disneyland. In 1980s, Caltrain took financial and administrative responsibility for the line. In 1985, Caltrain got its iconic equipment with 18 F40PHs and its now iconic Caltrain galleries, but still don't have an official HO model for some reason. Saying model industry, some people want it. In 1987, the Peninsula Corridor Study Joint Powers Board, or better known as the Joint Powers Board, is formed to take over control of the line. In 1991, the Joint Powers Board buys the right-of-way from San Francisco to San Jose for $219 million, but the route from San Jose to Gilroy stays in SP's hands, and now UP's hands to this day. In 1992, the Joint Powers Board contracts Amtrak to take over operations. In 1997, the Cahill Depot in San Jose is restored and renamed San Jose Dearden after Rod Dearden, a former Santa Clara supervisor and a big advocate of Bay Area transit. In 1996, the Southern Pacific merged with the Union Pacific, changing the responsibilities of freight over to them. In 1999, the electrification plan is approved, but still being worked on to this day. In 2002, several Bombardier bilevels joined the system, which soon become part of the Baby Bullet in 2004 with the addition of MPI MP36PH-3Cs. In 2017, the Trump administration blocked funding for the electrification of the corridor over budgeting, and many Republicans' general dislike of the high-speed rail plans. But this did not make the video political, so I will move on. In 2022, 2 AEM7 toasters will test the new line and its electrification.
Please like and subscribe. Thanks.
no one pukes in the stairway.
Yes.
Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time on Daylight 449.